Are you ready to become an escapreneur? Well, you are in the right place. Welcome to the Bye Bye 9 to 5 podcast, designed by brilliant women, especially for brilliant women who want to create the life of their dreams by escaping the 9 to 5.
Welcome to Bye Bye 9 to 5 podcast, where we are helping women to focus on escaping the 9 to 5 so that they can actually live a life that they truly, truly love and desire. So they are back at home with their families and creating a lifestyle on their own terms with their families and not having to sacrifice the income. And so today I have an amazing guest. This is definitely her wheelhouse. She does this all day long. Her specialty is moms. I have Samantha Siffring with us today. And she is truly an amazing coach. Welcome, Samantha.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Yes. So let me give you a little background about Samantha, and then she is going to tell us her story in her own words. So Samantha owns tbhcoach.com, where she is a business consultant and coach for moms with online businesses. She started as a coach after struggling to find her own identity after becoming a mother, and now is very passionate about helping other moms build businesses from home and balance entrepreneurship with motherhood. She is a mom of 3. I love this. She's an over-volunteerer. Oh, that's what I aspire to be. And a travel lover. She and her husband met while studying abroad in college, and they are always taking their kids on epic adventures. And so I absolutely love that. Samantha, great to have you. Go ahead, and I just want to hear this story. Please take us back a little bit to that story where you met abroad. Abroad. I love a good love story. And then tell us about your kids and what you're doing. I mean, what brought you to this place?
Yeah. Okay. So in college, I always knew I wanted to study abroad. My aunt actually had studied abroad in college in England and met her husband there. He was British. So she ended up living in the UK for like 20 years, having 3 kids there. They live in the United States now. But for some reason, I just always had that in my mind that I wanted to study abroad. Whether a love connection came from it or not, I didn't care, but I was open to it. So I studied abroad and met a few other Americans who were in the same program as I was. So my husband ended up being one of those Americans. So he was not from another country. I went across the ocean to find somebody from home. But he actually was from across the United States from me. So there's really no way we would have met otherwise.
Wow.
So it was kind of interesting. Both of us had a different program as our first choice that we were not able to get into. And for both of us, I believe this was our third choice. So we were really destined to meet up.
Oh, yeah, I'd say.
Yeah. So that's kind of the story there. And we just kind of clicked right away. We were best friends at first sight, and then it just kind of developed into something from there.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got married, you had kids.
Yes. Got married, had kids. Right before we had kids, I had been working for a nonprofit and really just felt like there was something missing in my life. So I went back to school for my master's in counseling. And 2 months after I graduated, my first baby was born. So major life changes. We also decided to move across the country at this time.
Oh, wow.
And I was struggling with postpartum depression. So all the things that you could pile on the plate at the same time were piled. And so I ultimately decided to just stay home and not build up my career in counseling. So I stayed home, had a couple more kids, and throughout that whole time, really struggled to find my purpose. I did not feel fulfilled as a stay-at-home mom. That was never a life goal for me. I was not that kind of woman that always dreamed of that. So I always felt really blessed, but really unsatisfied, and then really guilty about all of that.
Yes.
So, yeah. So I experimented with a lot of different things. Like I said, I'm an over volunteer, so I did lots of volunteering, but I also wanted to contribute to the family finances in some way. So tried a ton of things. I did network marketing. I sold things that I sewed on Etsy. I was a virtual assistant for a while. I really tried everything out there that you could imagine before having a really kind of lucky encounter with a woman who was a therapist who started an online life coaching company. And she needed more coaches. She had a business model where she wanted to keep costs low and build a team. So she brought on counselors that she trained as coaches and gave clients to us. So I spent 3 years working there as a life coach before deciding that I really wanted to launch my own business. I wanted to be able to make some more money, offer different things in the business. I wanted more independence and flexibility really with my coaching career. So that is why I started TBH. And it started as a life coaching business, morphed into a business coaching business for moms. Because of the experience I had, I just kept seeing other moms going through that, either struggling to find their purpose or struggling to get a business going successfully, or struggling with a business that plateaued, that maybe it took off initially from their own network, but then they really kind of slowed after that initial rush and wanted to be able to take it to the next level. So that is why I got into business coaching, and it is really fantastic. I enjoy it so much. It's so fulfilling. I just posted a story yesterday of one of my clients that we've been working together for about a month and a half. She decided to take her virtual assisting business in a totally new direction, and now she is coaching upcoming virtual assistants, helping them launch their businesses. Yes. And she already has 2 paying clients. So she launched a business and has 2 paying clients and 2 more in the pipeline, and she's only a month and a half in. So
very nice.
It's powerful. Yeah.
Very, very nice. Now, Samantha, I like to point out these golden nuggets. And so there's so many things you said in there that were just so golden. Like, I love the fact that you started doing, you did some of everything. Your journey kind of sounds like mine. Did network marketing, you did some things on Etsy, you did virtual assisting, and then you did coaching. And so, ladies, I do want you to recognize that this is indeed a journey. It is not a go to bed one night, wake up in the morning, I want to be a coach, or I want to do any kind of business, really, and it's just going to happen. Sometimes it takes this process of going through a journey, right, Samantha? Mm-hmm. And just kind of figuring out what your purpose is. And I loved it when you said, when you said that, it was like, I could feel your soul, like the hairs on the back of my neck kind of raised up. You said, this is so fulfilling. I could feel that. And you know, that's the place that you want to be in as a business owner. You want to love your business. You want to love it with your whole heart. And another golden nugget there you had, Samantha, is you said, it was never the plan for you to be a stay-at-home mom. And you went through all the emotions that go with that. And, a lot of times I will tell my clients that are moms, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Because either you are going to hate yourself for being a stay-at-home mom and trying to make this work, or you can start a business that you love while you're a stay-at-home mom and get some of that purpose, true purpose going in your life. But if you did just the opposite and got a job, then you would really feel a different kind of guilt. It's the dropping them off the daycare, not seeing them until at night. So it's okay, you know, we'll figure it all out. But the important nugget there was, you know, just, it's okay to have those feelings, but if you work with someone that's a coach like Samantha, you will be able to figure those feelings out and get you to a place where you're not feeling that way anymore. So I just wanted to point those things out. That was amazingly awesome. Yes. And so one of our focuses today, Samantha, is definitely your being able to, that was a great segue. You said you talked to one of your clients and they got their first few clients. Yeah. And that is always a motivator for new business owners, because what happens is it boosts your confidence and it lets you know that you can do this. And what I like to tell my clients is, if you do it once, you can always do it again, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if you will share with us, Samantha, a part of the process when clients work with you, how do they work with you and get those first few clients?
Yes. So there's a couple things. The first thing that I always say is you have to talk to people. And I know that that seems really basic, but the number of people who are hiding behind a computer, working on their website for the first 3 months of their business is astounding. And I will totally confess that I was one of them, that I felt like developing all of these courses, building this whole website, creating all these email funnels before I had ever talked to a soul was the way to be building a business. And it just wasn't. It was not the way. So I encourage a lot of my clients to start talking to people and building relationships, making those offers before they even have a website. In fact, I even have a coach mentor who did not build her website until she was beyond 6 figures. So to me, that really says the website is not the business. It's a tool, but it's a tool that you can wait on and really do it right. So that's kind of the first thing that I tell all my clients. But the best way to get those first few clients is to reach out to your existing network, even if they're not your target audience. That is okay. And let them know, this is what I'm doing now. This is who I help. This is exactly who I'm looking for. Do you know anyone? And as soon as people see that email, when you really have it clearly laid out who you want to work with, it starts your mind running. I just had a client do this. She forwarded the email to me that she sent, and one of the bullet points there was real estate agents. And I have real estate agents in my family. I know a bunch of them. And I just immediately started thinking of all the people I knew. And she hadn't even sent this to me for referrals. She had sent it to me as a client being like, here's what I did. Here's my homework. It just triggers something in people's brains. They really want to help. And your network that you already have cares about you more than anyone else out there. So that is the number one first step. Of course, you need to have that clarity on who you help and how before you even do that. So that would be step one, but then for sure, reaching out to that network.
Yes. I love great golden nuggets there for sure, because I love that. A lot of times, and like you said, Samantha, you've done it. I've done it. I remember I hid behind my computer for about a year. I did, because I was so afraid to really be visible. But visibility is just a part of that formula, isn't it? You just really, and reaching out to your own personal network helps you feel kind of comfortable, doesn't it? And it gives you a little bit of confidence as you're dealing with them and hitting, they're giving you referrals, you're talking to other people, you're getting practice. All of that's practice. So yeah, those are some really, really good tips. Now, when you're working with your clients, would you say that, and I know I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit by asking you this question, but when you're working with your clients, wouldn't you say that if they are following this formula for you and they are doing the things that you are coaching them through doing in your different sessions with them, wouldn't you say that the success rate for them getting their first clients is pretty darn high?
Yeah, it really is. And the ways that I see people struggle when I'm working with them is when they're not following through. So I have some clients who are even afraid to put it out to their own network, what they're doing. So they're even like not telling their family and friends what they're doing. Or they're really refusing to get clear on who they help and how.
Mm-hmm.
So even if they try to put a message out, it doesn't land with anyone. It's so vague. It's like if you were going to the bathroom at a restaurant and there was just all of these like symbols on the doors and you didn't understand any of it. You're like, where do I go? Is this like the kitchen? Is this the bathroom? Am I about to walk into a men's room? And you didn't know because it wasn't clear.
Yes.
So I think if you really want to be successful with this, you have to commit. You really have to confront your fears around, like you said, being visible, even to your friends and family. You need to confront your fears about narrowing down your focus. And you need to confront your fears about both success and failure, because both of those hold people back. And sometimes people will have both.
Yes.
Like, I think I'm afraid of failure, but also success. How can that be possible? And it is so, so possible. And it's a mindset thing.
It's a mindset thing. And so just piggybacking off of that, Samantha, are there some issues? I know, and I almost know the answer to this because I've experienced it in my business. Are there some times or some situations with your clients where their mindset is getting in the way and you have to take a break and say, hold up, we need to back up a minute and work on your mindset or you're never going to get these first few clients?
Yes. So that was actually a major shift that I made in my business over the course of the first few months. So initially I started and it was all business strategy, and it was setting up these emails and creating these programs and pricing and all of this stuff.
Right.
And now my business is almost entirely the mindset work, because I believe people really know how to build their business, or at least they know the next step they want to try. And if you keep trying the next step that comes to mind, they will figure out what works for them. There's not a formula for making this work. You have to kind of find what's the right fit for you and the people you want to work with. So now I dive almost entirely into the mindset side of things and break down a lot of that stuff from step one. And it really does surprise my clients that they think, okay, I thought what I needed was somebody to tell me, all these tips about email or social media strategy. And what I didn't realize is how much the mindset piece played a role. So I get a lot of clients who have tried at their business before and failed and thought, oh, it's just not in the cards for me. And then we work together and they start making progress. And it's truly because I taught them how to keep going even when they're afraid or discouraged.
Absolutely. Now, no matter how many times, Samantha, I try to segue these podcasts or feature them in a way where we're just talking about one strategy or another, it always comes back to mindset. It always does. And we do a similar thing in business, Samantha, but the one thing that I don't do, because I'm not I just stay in my wheelhouse. I'm not a mindset guru by any stretch of the imagination. So I don't really actually deal with clients who have a lot of mindset issues. I refer them out is what I do. I don't just leave them hanging, of course. I refer them out because I'm just not huge on mindset, but I fully relate to that because that is what happened to me when I first started business. I spent like a whole year just like spinning my wheels and then wanting to give up and say, I'm going to stay in this job because I'm never going to build a business. But it was the mindset. I was connected with a really good mindset coach, and she convinced me. She said, you can do this. You know how to do this. I'm listening to everything you're talking about. You know how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
She said, but it's your mindset. It's your mindset holding you back. And she was right.
Yep.
And so, yeah, mindset plays a really, really big part in this business. So I know that one of the ways that you work with your clients is you work with them one-on-one, but you also have something very special coming out soon here in September, I believe. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so it starts at the beginning of September. It's called Launch It, and it is a group coaching program where I will be working with a handful of women to get their business launched. So whether they have a total blank slate or they have something where they've tried to get it going, maybe they have a client or two that kind of fell in their lap, but they really don't know what they're doing. It is for kind of that whole spectrum, and we are going to walk through in a group setting all of the steps to get your business going. So some of it is going to be actual steps like registering your business with your state, making sure that you know what you're doing there, figuring out your marketing plan and what your strategy for content is going to be. Yes. Really making sure you have a clear niche and message, but also that mindset piece of the fears that come up, the self-doubt that comes up, and being able to do that in a group setting. I am really excited to see the support and kind of masterminding that's going to go on between these women who are all really new to their businesses, but really taking it seriously. So this is not for somebody who isn't really sure that they want a business. This is somebody who is tired of waiting around and ready to have a functioning business with clients at the end of this program.
I love it, love it, love it. Yes. And I will tell you, for the audience that's listening, if you have never, especially if you've never tried coaching before, a group program, being in a group program with other like-minded people on the same journey with you is a great way to be introduced to the whole coaching spectrum. And I think Samantha talked about, she said it was just, you said a certain size of group, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to limit it to a certain size. And that's just a great way to get involved in coaching and see what coaching can do for you and actually work with other like-minded people on the same journey. You will check out Samantha's program. I think that you will be delighted with the group coaching experience. I know when I first had one, I was like, oh, I like this. So
yes. I think it'll be really good as well. I'm excited. I think just you get a lot from one-on-one coaching for sure. Mm-hmm. But I think that there is also some different magic that happens when you're in a group, yes, like you said, of like-minded people, all headed in the same direction. How often are you in a group of people who have the same goals as you and are super positive? It's not easy to find in your day-to-day life.
And that is very true. I'll tell you, Samantha, when I had my coach and we were doing one-on-one, this was before I had ever done a group program, and we were doing one-on-one coaching. There were days, she would call me, we had 3 calls a month. And there were days when I knew I hadn't done anything. I didn't do what I was supposed to do. And it was my coach day, my call day was coming, right? I was so just wishing, I was like, I wish she would just call somebody else. Why does she have to, why is the spotlight on me? Or, it was just, and that's when I realized, when I got in a group coaching program, that's when I kind of realized, oh, this is so much different from one-on-one. The spotlight isn't always on me. And so if I goof off a little bit here, not that I'm promoting that, but if I didn't quite get it together, then the spotlight would be on someone else. And then but what happened, the magic that you talked about was I would get inspiration from someone else. When I just hear about all that they had done or accomplished or they were working, I was like, oh my gosh, oh, that's going to be me next week. I would always think that, oh, that's going to be me next week. So I would get inspired. Whereas, sometimes in a group, in a one-on-one, it's just, sometimes it's just all on you. So a group program is a good experience, especially for a first-time coaching, I think. Yeah, so amazing. Very nice. Very, very nice. Great to hear. And Samantha, you also have a podcast as well. Tell us about that.
I do. It's called the Badass Mother Podcast, and it is an inspirational podcast for moms. So whether they have a business or not, I really focus on personal growth and inspiration. So like I had mentioned before, being in a place where I didn't know my purpose, I was really frustrated about that. I actually recently had a podcast episode about that and about how I think you should find your purpose. So that's episode 11.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and that's a solo episode. I kind of alternate my solo episodes where I teach about a topic with episodes where I interview somebody, and they're all moms. They all do have a business and have just some really interesting wisdom to share.
Very nice. I like that. And so it's a relatability thing with moms, at least you can hear a mom on there that you can definitely relate to. Samantha is a mom as well. And so she does some solo and some interviews. So check out her podcast. Sounds really, really great. I love it. Yes. So we're just about done here, Samantha. I have enjoyed having this interview with you so much, and just hearing all the wonderful ways that you work with your clients, being able to help them get that first client, knowing that getting those first clients are possible. It's not as hard as you think it is. It is truly, truly possible. So if you could just share one action tip with us. Oh, before I do that, Samantha, just let me tell the audience that Samantha does have a free gift for everyone. If you will go to her website, tbhcoach.com/get clients. And I love this. This is a guide to clarity on how and where to get your next 5 clients. Now, hear that again. It is a guide to clarity on how and where to get your next 5 clients. So she's laying out some steps there for you. Am I right, Samantha?
Yes. Yep. So that is all about getting clarity about who you help, how you help them. If you have been struggling to get clients, you really need to refresh yourself on these things. Even if you feel like, oh, I already have a niche, I already know who I work with. If you don't have clients yet, take another look. Go back through, make sure you're really clear on that. Remember the bathroom doors. This needs to be super clear so they see it and know that is me. And then it also gives you some ideas of how to create your marketing message from that, and also where to find those people once you know who they are.
Absolutely. That's nice. I love that bathroom analogy, by the way. it took me, I was even already coaching with clients before I really got that analogy. And I said, you know what, this is not really my sweet spot. This is my sweet spot. So my bathroom door had the name New Women Business Owners Only, and I really stick to that. I just really, I don't deviate from that. When people come, women entrepreneurs come to me and say, well, I've been in business for a couple years and I'd like to grow my business. No, I'm not your girl, but I've got some other women that can help you. So yeah, it's important.
I know some people are kind of afraid to narrow down because they do feel that they can help a lot of people. And I think there's a couple approaches for that. One is like you, just being really firm. This is the only person I work with because this is really my sweet spot. I know for me, there's a couple different areas that I feel like I excel. So if people come to me outside of my niche, they still might be the right fit, but I don't advertise to them. So I think it helps with your marketing and in creating your offers, creating your content. It all gets so much easier when you know who you're talking to and you're not trying to talk to the world.
It does, Samantha. And what I found is before I didn't love my business as much because I was it's like I was trying to fit a circle in a square peg or something. I didn't love it as much. But now that I'm super clear and I'm only dealing with clients that I absolutely love, who are a good fit for me, I just love my business. So it just makes a big difference. So yeah, Samantha's right. Don't be afraid to explore those avenues to niche down specifically to who your clients are. So Samantha, the big question.
Yes.
You will share one action tip that my audience can put in place today, right after this interview, something that they can walk away after listening to this and say, I can do that. What would that be?
Well, it kind of depends. So I have two different options for you. If you feel I'm super clear on who I help and how I help them and what their problem is, then my first step for you is to get out there and ask your network for a referral and be really clear to them on who exactly you're looking for and what they're struggling with and how you're going to help. And put that out there to your network and ask, do you know anybody who fits this? So that's their first step if they're really clear. And if you're not clear yet, if you feel like it's kind of murky, if you've heard this bathroom door analogy and felt like, oh, maybe mine's not clear, then I really urge you to sit down and get clear. And if you want to download that freebie of mine to walk you through it, you absolutely can. But whatever you need to do to get really clear on that, who you help, what their problem is that they're motivated to pay to fix, and how you help them fix it. And then you can take that next step of asking your network.
Very clear. Thank you, Samantha. I appreciate that. Those are things that you can, as you listen to this, write that down and you follow those steps that Samantha just gave you, and you will be able to move just a little bit more in your business today. Because remember, that is the key, is just being consistent and moving forward just a little bit more every single day. Right, Samantha?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here today. I really, really appreciate it. And I think my audience will enjoy the information that you've shared. You have given them some really actionable things that they can do to take that very first step into getting their clients. And if you are confused about anything Samantha said today, know that on my podcast page on kimwiggins.coaching.com/podcast, there'll be a page there with Samantha's information. It will tell you where to find her, how to get her free gift, and how to reach out to her if you have a question. Please do not hesitate to do so. Thank you so much, Samantha. And we are ending this session of Bye Bye 9 to 5 podcast. Make sure that you are listening subscribing, and commenting on Bye Bye 9 to 5 podcast. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Oops.
This episode of the Bye Bye 9 to 5 podcast has ended, but it doesn't stop there. Be sure to subscribe for more strategies and advice to help you move from employee to escapreneur, to have the kind of success you have always dreamed of without sacrificing family or time. And don't forget to rate and review us so we can continue to bring you the best content possible to motivate and encourage you on this journey. See you on the next episode.